at 11.
Coming up on your news now at 11, snow showers this evening has been causing quite a few issues out on the roads. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday night. I'm Katie Honigford. First responders and tow truck drivers have had quite the busy night with the bad road conditions. Law enforcement, first responders, and those with towing companies have been working hard over the past few hours, covering numerous slide-offs and minor accidents throughout the area. Surrounding counties, including Allen, Hancock, Putnam, and Logan, are all currently under a level 1 snow emergency tonight, meaning that the roads are hazardous and drivers are asked to drive with extreme caution. If you do have to drive tonight, be sure to drive slow, take your time, and be aware of other drivers and possible ice on the roads. And with all of that snow, the question is, when is it going to stop? We're checking in with Marina Newman to take a look at our forecast. Hi, Marina. All right, thanks, Marina. Super Bowl Sunday is all about football, but when it comes to the parties, the main event is the food. Britt Slay looked into what food made MVP and what Lima thinks about it. All right, thanks, Britt. There's a lot of community events going on Super Bowl Sunday, but there's nothing quite as unique as an organ recital. The Lima chapter of the American Guild of Organists held their annual Super Bowl Sunday organ recital earlier today. 10 organists performed with an interlude where a pianist accompanied the audience in hymns. The recital has been a tradition for a couple of decades now, but in its beginnings, the Super Bowl connection was not exactly intentional. Next year's Super Bowl recital will be at Trinity United Methodist Church. The Cleveland Browns didn't get a win this season, but the Lima area Browns backers are helping 3 local organizations be winners this Super Bowl Sunday. Throughout this past football season, Browns backers have been collecting money to help support local charities, and today they handed out $1,000 checks to the Veterans Food Pantry of Northwest Ohio, the Equestrian Therapy Program, and Deb's Dogs. The organizations were happy that the Browns backers collected this money to support their missions of helping people and animals. Besides these checks, the Browns backers had a hog roast in the fall, which raised $1,700 for the local toy ride. And for hundreds of people in the area, Super Bowl time also means corned beef time. Temple Beth Israel held their annual corned beef lunch carryout. The temple sold around 850 lunches in pre-sales alone and expected that number to go up throughout the day. The carryout is the temple's only fundraiser to help with their operation and maintenance costs for the year, but it's also a way for them to reach out to their community. Extra corned beef meals will be available Monday for purchase while supplies last. The Super Bowl may be one of the biggest sporting events here in the States, but countries from around the world are gearing up for the upcoming Winter Olympic Games. A special cultural opening ceremony on Saturday held in Gangneung, South Korea, featured live performances and other cultural activities, including local folk traditions. Gangneung is co-hosting the 2018 Winter Games, which are set to open on February 9th. All of the ice Olympic events, including hockey, skating, and curling, will be held in the city. The governor said the city is eager to provide visitors with a memorable cultural experience, along with a shared passion for the Olympic Games. 2 Amtrak employees are dead. Over 100 were taken to hospitals after an Amtrak train traveling from New York to Florida slammed into a parked freight train in South Carolina. This is the second deadly Amtrak crash in less than a week, the third since that December crash in Washington State. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has our story tonight. The Ohio Attorney General's office says that investigations into human trafficking cases last year reached their highest level since the state first started keeping track of the numbers. Authorities investigated 202 human trafficking cases in 2017, which was a 50% increase from the year before. The report released by the Attorney General's Human Trafficking Commission showed that a majority of the cases were involved in the sex trade and that there were only 70 arrests involving human trafficking made last year. That's the lowest number since 2013. State Attorney General Mike DeWine says that the rise in trafficking is connected to the state's opioid problem. The Shawnee Township Police Department and Crime Stoppers need your help to solve the crime of the week. Detectives from Shawnee Township Police Department are investigating an incident that occurred at the Huntington Bank at 850 Shawnee Road sometime during the early hours of January 11th. The subject in this surveillance video used a debit card at this ATM location. If you know the identity of the person who was involved in this incident, please call Crime Stoppers at 419-229-STOP. If an arrest is made from your confidential tip, Crime Stoppers will pay you a cash reward. The use of body cameras by Lima police officers is entering its next phase as the city is now prepared to move forward with camera purchases. The use of body cameras by Lima police officers is entering its next phase as the city is now prepared to move forward with camera purchases. A letter to City Council Monday night from Lima Police Chief Kevin Martin states that after an extensive review, including testing and evaluating a number of different police body cameras, the department is now ready to advertise for body camera proposals. The city says it's looking for the best product to suit the city's needs at the best cost. Council will vote on an ordinance to allow the police department to move forward. Besides the letter, Lima Police Major Jim Baker will be in attendance to give the council a body camera update. Clemens Nelson and Associates will be hired for the 2018 calendar year to assist the city with current and upcoming contract negotiations. The city is currently negotiating with the FOP Blue unit and will begin negotiations with the FOP Gold unit this fall. That contract is not to exceed $40,000. Council will vote on hiring Downing Community Advisors for Land Bank Manager Services. That contract is not to exceed $50,000. The Finance Committee will also report on its late January meetings. The meeting begins at 7 Monday night in Council Chambers. We'll be right back with your news now at 11. Stick around. Welcome back. The state of Ohio has issued a $1 million contract to a New Jersey company to operate a toll-free hotline for patients, caregivers, and physicians of medical marijuana. According to Cleveland.com, the helpline will be operated by the company Extra Step Assurance and will be centered in Bellefontaine. Extra Step Assurance is part of Direct Success Incorporated, which has been operating a national marijuana helpline since February of 2017. Direct Success CEO Cheryl McDaniel says that the hotline will answer questions and give out information about medical marijuana so that those considering the drug can talk with doctors and decide if the drug is right for them. Creating the helpline was part of the state requirement of the 2016 Ohio medical marijuana law, and the contract amount covers a 3-year period. Medical marijuana is expected to become available for patients in September. A group of lawmakers, including Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown, are asking the Government Accountability Office to review actions taken by the president to address the country's opioid crisis. The letter is written by the senators was made to be sure that action would and could be taken to fight back against opioid use. Senator Brown's Interdict Act, which works with Customs and Border Protection to keep fentanyl out of the country, was recently signed into law by President Trump. And while the act would help, Senator Brown says that more needs to be done to work on problems the country is currently facing. President Trump originally declared the opioid crisis as an emergency back in October of last year. In 2016, nearly 50 people in the U.S. died each day of overdoses involving prescription opioids. Ohio stepped up to find new ways to attack the problem with technology. The state asked the world for innovative ideas through the Ohio Opioid Technology Challenge and received hundreds of responses. Barb Consiglio has the details on the 5 ideas that topped the list. So, Marina, we had a lot of snow tonight. So what's next for us weather-wise? So up next in sports, John Rawlings has the highlights from the big game. See how the Super Bowl turned out between the Eagles and the Patriots right after the break.
It all comes down Purdue, Ohio State. We'll see what happens. I'm sure you're choosing the Buckeyes.
Well, as an alum from Ohio State, I got to stick with my boys.
Yeah, so, my alma mater against your alma maters.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, thanks, John. Stay with us. We'll finish things up after the break. And finally tonight, we're wrapping up Super Bowl Sunday right now, but 24 hours ago, the village of Ada was kicking off the day with the 2nd annual football drop. The drop concluded the evening-long Made in Ada Wilson Football Festival. Besides a 10-foot-long foot counting down the start of Super Bowl Sunday, the festival held a robot football, a coaches panel to talk about today's game, and raffles to win Wilson footballs. Organizers are counting down the days till they will kick off Super Bowl 53 next year. I think it's really neat, the most, important ball in sports, and it's made, half an hour away.
Yeah, right here. It's crazy, and it's awesome. I've been there. I highly suggest everyone going and checking that out.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for spending your Sunday with us. The Super Bowl edition of Jimmy Fallon is next. Have a good night.